This is the second of 5 episodes in the run home to the end of 2015. In September, the ranking group had expanded from 46 to 54 ranked clans. In this episode, which clan was the number 1 war clan in September 2015? This is the second of my update videos, which are going to bring us in the run home to the end of 2015. In this episode, we're looking at which were the number 1 war clans, or the full list of war clans, including the mid-sized clans as at September 2015. If I don't know if you remember, but in August there were 46 war clans. In September there were 54 clans qualified for the ranking group. So let's start out with looking at changes to the ranking group. So in September 2015, there's 54 clans up from 46. The way that's happened is there's 14 clans come in and 6 clans come out. Just if you're interested in how I do this, if clans start, not 3-starring or really not performing well, I'll drop them from the group. Also, if clans die or get too small, I'm also drop them from the group. So that's how clans get out. In terms of clans getting in, basically I look through all the logs and see which clans are putting a lot of 3 stars and beating elite clans, and that's how you get into the group. So basically 14 clans in and 6 clans out. Now let's just have a quick look at which clans were dropped. So clans out were BR Brothers, CN1, Farming Kings, Indo Celestial, Indo Eternity, and Lin Yung. And clans joining the group were Avidade BR, China Zizao, Epic Relentless, Golf Legion, Imaginatic, Love and Peace, Number 1, Storm UAE, TR, Van Squan, War Kings, Shanghai KOCs, Zibazan, Y and Y are back, so Yun Yex Huan and Yun Quisfang. So Y and Y, the famous old previous number 1 clan, and also Datang Tianzi Tai Yuan. So I've covered the mid-sized wars in the previous video, but I'm just going to focus here on all wars, not including mid-sized clans, in September 2015. All up, there was 93 wars in that month, so let's kick it off. First is a new clan, China Zizao versus Sanju Tao, and Sanju Tao hit China Zizao in a 40s war, 87-86, so 7 3-stars to 6, no points changed hands there. Next, MKMA, still in the group at this stage, beat Viet Blood 85-84 in a 35s war, so that's 15 3-stars. MKMA still putting a lot of 3-stars at this stage, beating Viet Blood by 1 3-star. Next, Golf Legion versus Shouhu Yu Rong Yao, Defend and Honor, and they go down in a pretty tightly fought contest in the 40s war, 89-92, 29 points for Defend and Honor. Next, Fuzi Xiaolin versus Exodius Elite. You expect this. Fuzi Xiaolin with a solid wing there. Exodius Elite were actually ranked pretty high back then, but 25 points for Fuzi for that 95-90 win in a 40s war. Next, Arabian Shield versus Hitmen. Arabian Shield go down in a 40s war, so only 1 3-stars to 4. Hitmen pick up 166 points for that win. Next, China Rush versus Getting Dark in a 40s war, so there's 21 3-stars to 14, so huge win for China Rush there. Getting Dark, very very good clan, 51 points for China Rush. Next, Artificeristop versus Ways of War. Ways of War, very strong clan, you'd expect them to win that in a 35s war, 8 3-stars to 1. Next, Shanghai KOCs versus VN Champions. VN Champions, you expect them to win that, and that's 92-86 in a 40s war. Next, Hainan Haiji Zhuangjiao, I think it is. Butchered that, but anyway, versus Yazhou Lingcheng, and that's actually a tie. Remember, there's no percentage ties at this stage, so Yazhou Lingcheng get 9 points for it was a slight upset tie for them. Next, MKMA versus Fuzi Xiaolin. Fuzi, very, very, very good clan, and look at that. I think it's the top of the table matchup at the time, and in a 45s war, so that is 24 3 stars to 20, and Fuzi get away with a huge win, and that win saw them grab top spot on the top of the table in September. That was on the 31st of August 2015. Next, KY3 versus Getting Dark. You expect this Getting Dark 81-72 with a nice solid win, no points change down there. Next, In the Dark versus Legend Warriors. Legend Warriors capable of putting a lot of 3 stars sometimes. A 45s war, 14 3 stars to 25, so 25 to get In the Dark. In the Dark pick up 26 points for that win. Legend Warriors, a pretty high ranked clan. Next, Medan 13 versus Storm UAE. Storm UAE with a solid win there, 84-79 in the 35s war, and so that's 14 3 stars to 9, and they pick up 28 points for that win. Saigon by Night versus Suicide Squads. No points change hands. You expect that result, 6 3 stars to 1. Good win by Saigon by Night. Next, MKMA versus Senjing. No points change hands, 103-83. Shenzhou versus Hainan. I'll just call them Hainan, it's probably easier. So that's in a 40s war, and 99-89, so that's 19 3 stars to 9. Really solid win there to Shenzhou, picking up 17 points. Al Raza Clan versus Ferris d'Arms. Obvious result, I guess. Al Raza Clan, decent clan, 6 3 stars to 0, no points change. Oh, actually, no, they picked up points for that. 79 points for that win versus Ferris d'Arms. Next, Exodius versus Lin Yung. Exodius 82-71 in a 35s war, so 12 3 stars to 1. Lin Yun actually was still in the group here, and then they sort of vanished about halfway through September. They sort of disappeared, but I think this might have been their last war, so Elite War, and so 38 points for Exodius for that win. Next, Getting Dark versus Shanghai KOCers, and Getting Dark 81-74 in the 35s war. No points for them for the win because they're miles further up the table. Next, Art of War versus Arabian Shield. Art of War in an 80-71 win, no points change hands. In the Dark versus Hitman, 93-84, no points change hands. MKMA versus Ways of War. MKMA still in the group at this stage, and look at that for a win. Great clan, 111-97 in a 40s war. So 100. What is that? That is 31 3 stars to 17. So, you know, MKMA really hitting well at that stage, and get away with 24 points for that win. Next, Shenzhou versus Thailand Pro. Shenzhou expect to win that, so 93-87, 24 points for that win. Next, number 1 versus Storm UAE. Storm UAE 48 points for that win in 35s war, 12 3 stars to 10. Next, Viet Blood versus Sanju Tao. 86-84. Viet Blood get away with the points, and in a 35s war, so that's 16 3 stars to 14. You know, towards the end of Town Hall 10, as it matured, people putting on lots and lots and lots of 3 stars. Be interesting to see how Town Hall 11 develops, because I think there's a better balance between attack and defense. But as people get their wardens to max, well, who knows what's going to happen. Next, Shanghai KOCers 74-81, losing to Exodius. Exodius, no points for that win. Next, China Rush versus Zhao Xingfu, 112-103 in a 50s war. So you don't see many 50s wars, but no points change hands. China Rush much further up the table. Next, Medan 13 versus VN Champs. VN Champs expecting to win that, no points change hands. Lin Yung, so this must be one of the last ones. Lin Yung versus MSK team, 86-81 with a win, picking up 34 points. Next, Shenzhou versus Ativdade BR. Shenzhou expecting to win that, and they did. No points change hands. Next, Fuzi versus Shouhu. They win that 103-96 in a 45s war, so 13 3 stars to 6, and no points change hands. Now, Unity Air Force versus Artificier Stop. Unity Air Force put on quite a few wins through this period and pick up 89 points for that win. I think that result should have been on the mid-size war ranking vid, but anyway, it's not a double up, and check that. Just in case you're wondering, in terms of the mid-size ranking group and the full ranking group, it's all the same point system, all the same group, so all the points counts versus all the other clans. I just separate the clans so I can break it up to smaller bids. So 8th of September saw Pen Shield 2 face number 1 and the 35s war 5-2 on 3 stars and 94 points to Pen Shield 2. Good win for them over number 1. Next, Hainan Hai Zhu Zhang versus Datang Qian Zi Tai Yuan. So that is two of the new clans duking it out in a 35s war. And look at that, 16 3 stars to 14, so they're both good clans. Need to watch out for them. 77 points to the Tang Tian for that 16-14 win. Next, Medan 13 versus Golf Legion. Medan 13 with a good solid win there in a 40s war, so 15 3 stars to 12 and 34 points for Medan 13. Next, Unity Air Force versus Ways of War. A good solid win for Ways of War there. Very, very good clan, pulling out 14 3 stars to 8 in a 35s war. Next, Datang Qian Zi Tai Yuan versus Utopia OP. Utopia OP with a good win for them, 66 points for that 16 3 stars to 14 3 stars win in a 35s war. Yajiao Ling Cheng versus Exodius Elite. They pull off a bit of an upset there. Actually, no, they're a good clan. No, that probably was not an upset, but in a 40s war, you're looking at 16 3 stars to 10, and a very good win for them, 69 points to Yazhu Ling Cheng. Now, Artificera Stop versus Shouhuyu Rong Yao, Defend and Honor, and Defend and Honor, you expect to win that, so 78-75 in a 35s war, 34 points to them. Getting Tak versus Shenzhou, look at that, that's a good war. 35s war, looking at 21 3 stars to 18, really close context, but Shenzhou, very, very good clan, and 27 points to them. Ativdade BR versus China Zhijiao, and 150 points for China Zhijiao, probably so far in the upset of September, so 91 points to 87 in a 40s war, and great win for them. Nice to see them sort of joining the group. Golf Legion versus Al Raza Clan, look at that. This is again where there were no percentage wins, so this is a straight tie, and Golf Legion with the upset tie get 43 points for the upset tie. Now, Fuzi Xiaolin versus Sanju Tao, both good clans, but Fuzi number 1 at the time, so you can see them. No points change hands there for that big win in a 40s war. Next, MKMA versus Hainan Hao Shu Zhao, just call them Hainan, and in a 45s war, 23 stars to 6, and MKMA, no points change hands there. China Rush versus KY3 in a 50s war, 13 3 stars to 0, and so China Rush, no points change hands there. Storm UAE versus Shanghai KCs, 80-75 in a 35s war, so 10 3 stars to 5. Ways of War versus Utopia OP in a 35s war, 17 3 stars to 13. Ways of War get away with 16 points, being further up the table, but just in range, within 300 points, so they get some points for that win. Medan 13 versus Suicide Squads. Medan 13 with 97 points for that 92-80 win in a 40s war. Atidade BR versus Yazhu Ling Cheng, and Yazhu win that solid win in a 40s war, 11 3 stars to 5, no points change hands. VN Champions versus China Rush Rock, you'd expect them to win that, and look at that, in a 40s war, 21 3 stars to 11, 16 points to VN Champions for that win. Shenzhou versus Medan 13 in a 40s war, 16 3 stars to 11, no points change hands. China Rush versus Lin Yung, so we must be getting towards the last of Lin Yung's wars here. China Rush in a 50s war, put on 12 3 stars to 3, no points change hands. Unity Air Force versus Imaginatic, so Unity Air Force win that 86-77, 47 points for them for that win. Exodius versus El Raza Clan. Exodius go down to El Raza Clan, and so 67 points for El Raza Clan with that 19 3 stars to 17 win over Exodius. Legend Warriors versus Utopia OP. Legend Warriors in a 45s war putting on 17 3 stars versus 4 and pick up 31 points for that win. MSK team versus VN Champs. VN Champs win 8 3 stars to 4, no points change hands. Fuzi Zalin versus Getting Dark. Fuzi Zalin pick up another 17 points with another win, 103, so that's 23 3 stars versus 11 in that war. KY3 versus Xinjiang 8090, and look at that number of 3 stars in there. So that's a 90s war. So that is 26 3 stars by Xinjiang 8090. So that's really interesting for them as a clan to watch. 118 points for them, and need to keep an eye on them because they're obviously capable of putting on a lot of 3s. Next, Exodius versus Storm UAE. Exodius win that after the Lost Tail Reza clan. So they win that in a 35s war, 15 3 stars to 13, and pick up 43 points. MKMA versus MSK team, you expect MKMA to win that. Further up the table, no points change hands. Unity Air Force versus Gulf Legion. Unity Air Force go down here, so and you can see the huge point loss because Unity Air Force very high on the table at the time. Gulf Legion beat them 273 points, and that's the big K factor coming in into play. So 273 points for that win. I've mentioned a while back that I have an adjustment if a clan gets over 25% 3 stars. It actually kicks in about 20. If you get over 25% 3 stars, it's treated as the top of the table war. But you can see in a 40s war with 6-7 result, there's no ambush protection. It's not treated like a top of the table war. It's treated just as a genuine upset. And so that 7 3 stars to 6 3 stars win, we'll see 273 points change hands. So that's explaining why that's so large. Next, Shenzhou versus Yaju Lincheng. Shenzhou win that comfortably and no points change hands. Datang Tianzi Taiyuan versus Linyong, and a strong win for them. No point. So they pick up 131 points for that win. Hainan versus KY3. Hainan win that solidly in the 45s war, 9 3 stars to 0. No points change hands. Active Dade BR versus VN Champions. VN Champions, you expect to win that. Not many 3 stars for VN Champions there. Quite surprising that result. But 4-1. Get away with no points changing hands. Exodius versus Peninsula Shield. So Exodius go down on a 35s war, 11 3 stars to 13. Good solid win for Pen Shield, 37 points for Pen Shield. Shohu Yu Rong Yao, Defending Honor versus Yazhu Lincheng, and look at that. Look, they're a good clan, Yazhu Lincheng, and win that in a 35s war, 8 3 stars to 7, 69 points for them. Next, Medan 13 versus Exodius Elite. Big win for Medan 13, so 146 points for that win in a 40s war, 11 3 stars to 8. Next, Viet Lad versus China Zizhao. Viet Lad win that. You'd expect them to, they're much further up the table, only 19 points for that win. And number 1 versus China Zizhao, and they get number 1. Okay, now this is a win to China Zizhao in a 40s war. It's 12 3 stars all, but China Zizhao won on percentage. So this is the update where there were no more draws, or no more draws unless you get exact match on percentage. So they get away with they get 52 points for that win. Next, 300 versus Sanju Tao, and 300 in a 35s war go down 1 3 star to 8. So Sanju Tao 33 points for that win. Atif Basirastop versus Atif Dade BR, 290 points for that. Look at that, in the 35s war, 14 all. Atif Dade scrape home on percent and pick up 290 points for that win. Next, Medan 13 versus KY3. Medan 13 with a solid win in the 40s war, 7 3 stars to 2, no points change hands. Thailand Pro in a 45s war, so it's 15 3 stars to, that's a lot. So it almost looks like a mixed war, but look at the number of 3s. But that is 26 3 stars to China Zhengzheng, so 86 points for them. Next, Hainan versus Hitman. Hainan in a 45s war, 7 3 stars to 5, and pick up 95 points for that win. Then Shohu Ru Yong Yao, Defending Honor versus MSK team. You'd expect them to win that, so it's 7-5 on 3s in the 35s war. Art of War versus Utopia OP, 193 in a 40s war. no points changed hands. Medan 13 versus Hitmen. Look at that, Hitmen, a lot of threes there. You almost wonder about whether, anyway, so that's 109 to 99, the 45s war. So Hitmen put on 19 3 stars, great to see them do that. 152 points for them for that win. Great upset and really interesting result. I have to watch Hitmen from here. Next, Y&Y back in the group versus Getting Dark. Getting Dark win that 104 to 97 in the 40s war. So what's that? 24 3 stars to 17 and 69 points for Getting Dark. Viet Blood versus Utopia OP. Viet Blood win that comfortably in the 35s war, 16 3 stars to 11. No points changed hands. Activate BR versus Hainan. 90 to 88 win for Hainan. 36 points for them for that win. KY3 versus Hitmen. Hitmen in a 45s war. So Hitmen putting on 9 3 stars here. So you can see they've obviously picked up some hitters. So 9 3 stars to Zip. But no points changed hands, settling further up the table. Artificial Stop versus Penshield 2. Penshield 2 win that comfortably in the 35s war. No points changed hands. Golf Legion versus Getting Dark. Getting Dark 17 points for that win. So Golf Legion obviously within 300 points of Getting Dark and a really strong win there. 23 stars to 4. Viet Blood versus Unity Air Force. Unity Air Force with a big win over Viet Blood. Look at that in a 35s war. So that's 13 3 stars to 5. Pick up 152 points for that win. Next, Artificial Stop versus War Kings. Artificial Stop 76-73. Pick up 310 points. This is obviously a bit further down the table. The K factors are big, so clans can move up quick and they can fall very quick. So they pick up 310 points for that win. Next, Active Dade BR versus MSK team. In the 35s war, 4 3 stars to 1 MSK team. Get away with the points there. 279 points for MSK team. Exodius versus Legend Warriors. Oh gosh, it would have been nice to win this one. In a 45s war, 17 3 stars to 21. Legend Warriors put on 21 3 stars, get 48 points for that win over Exodius. Next, and finish up the round, we have MKMA versus Fuzi Xiaolin. Yes, matched twice in this month. MKMA in a 45s war go down with 24 3 stars to 29. So Fuzi putting on 29 3 stars. Absolutely brutal war. 36 more points to Fuzi. So as this is an update video, I'm going to just shoot straight into the tables rather than do a countdown. So looking at ranks 39 to 54. We've got, and keep in mind that a lot of changes to the group here, so we've got a lot of new clans. The rankings are settling for a bit of the new clans, and a bunch of clans left the group. So starting the group, we've got War Kings, KY3, Imaginatic, Active VR, Kumu Longling, MOT, Shanghai KOCers, Suicide Squads, 300, Artificial Stop, Daomin, Arabian Shield, number 1, TR, Utopia OP, and Epic Relentless. So next, looking at ranks 38 to 25. So we've got Ferries to Arms, China Zizhao, Storm UAE, Shenzhen, MSK Team, Medan 13, Golf Legion, Exodius Elite, so a big drop for them down the table. Next, Zhao Xingfu, Viet Blood, after that they had that sort of upset loss and lost quite a few points towards the end of September, and so down to rank 29. Shou Hu Yu Rong Yao, so Defend and Honor, so 28. Unity Air Force at this stage were only ranked 27. Hitmen, after some really good wins towards the end of that month, ranked 26. And Datang Tianzi Taiyan debut at rank 25. Now looking at ranks 24 to 11, so we've got Love and Peace, one of the new clans to the group, come in at rank 24. Thailand Pro 23, Fangshu Bizhao at 22, Van Xuan, I think they're a very good clan, at 21, Shanju Tao at 20, Peninsula Shield 2 at 19, China Rush Rock at 18. Exodius, after 2 losses in September to Arabic clans, Pen Shield and I think it was the Al Raza clan, down to rank 17. Ways of War at rank 16, Hainan Hai Zhu Zhang Jiao at 15, Al Raza clan at rank 14, Yazhu Ling Cheng at rank 13, Legend Warriors at rank 12, and Saigon by Night at rank 11, which just brings us to the top 10 at end of September. Now the number 10 might be a bit of an anomaly. Y&Y, so they historically were the number one clan, but rejoining the group, they rejoin at the historic points, adjusted for the changes in K factor. So but as they're re-establishing themselves, that's probably more a factor of they rejoined at high points. The rankings will adjust pretty quickly, so they were ranked 10 based on their history. Now rank 9 was Getting Dark, rank 8 Peninsula Shield, so I think that's actually their highest rank they've been. China Rush rank 7, In the Dark rank 6, MKMA still in action here, down a couple of spots, down to rank 5, Art of War rank 4, VN Champions rank 3, Shenzhou rank 2, and the new number 1 following their win over MKMA on 31st of August, and then again towards the end of September at 2,399 points, Fuzi Zhaolin. Congratulations to them on hitting number 1. It's their first time at number 1. I think they're a very, very good clan, very, very dangerous, and to put on 2 wins in the 1 month over what was a number 1 clan previously, they've established themselves clearly as the number 1 as at September, and let's see if anyone can knock them off in the run home to the end of the year.